the Roswell incident, the hidden truth about the UFO that crashed in 1947. In 1947, a series of unusual events took place in a small town in New Mexico, United States, that still fascinate ufologists, scientists, and curious individuals alike. The Roswell incident, as it became known, is one of the greatest mysteries in the history of ufology and remains a subject of intense debate. The story began on a summer night in July when an unknown object crashed in the desert near the town of Roswell, raising questions that still linger today about the existence of extraterrestrial life. The beginning. The crash of the unidentified object. It was on July 2, 1947, when farmer William Mac Brazel first discovered the wreckage of an unknown object on his property in the New Mexico desert, about 80 kilometers from Roswell. What he found wasn't just a piece of metal or a conventional spacecraft. The wreckage was made of unusual material, lightweight, and incredibly durable. The most bizarre part was the symbols and inscriptions that seemed to have no earthly origin. Brazel, confused and concerned, called local authorities to investigate the discovery. At first, local authorities were just as perplexed as Brazel and approached the situation with caution. The news quickly spread across the town, and curious onlookers began gathering at the site of the wreckage. The following day, military personnel arrived quickly at the scene, securing the area and collecting all the debris. Initially, the authorities confirmed that a flying saucer had crashed in the desert, giving rise to one of the most shocking headlines in ufology history. Army Air Force captures flying disc on ranch in Roswell region, as reported by the Roswell Daily Record. This announcement was a media explosion. The idea that a flying saucer had crashed on American soil was a shock to the public, and the coverage of the incident in Roswell sparked a massive wave of speculation, discussions, and theories about extraterrestrial life. However, what happened in the following hours would completely change the direction of the story. The strange change in narrative. The government cover-up. The turning point in the case came on July 8, 1947, when the official version was drastically altered. General Roger Ramey from the U.S. Air Force called a press conference to explain the situation. At the event, he presented a series of wreckage pieces, claiming that what had crashed in Roswell was actually an experimental weather balloon. The explanation was swift, direct, and refuted the idea of a flying saucer. The new version was immediately accepted by the media, but it raised suspicions among those who had seen the original wreckage. Jesse Marcel, the Air Force officer who was one of the first to investigate the site, later stated in interviews that the wreckage he saw was entirely different from the material presented by Ramey to the press. According to Marcel, the material was lightweight, indestructible, and bore unusual symbols that seemed extraterrestrial in origin. Moreover, the farmer Mac Brazel, who had found the wreckage, was taken into custody by the authorities and interrogated for several days. When he finally returned to his farm, Brazel appeared visibly shaken and avoided commenting on what he had truly found. The sudden and unexplained shift in the official narrative only fueled further speculation about what had really happened in Roswell. The cover-up, documents, and testimonies that support the story. The official version that a weather balloon had crashed remained widely accepted for decades, but several declassified documents and subsequent testimonies began to raise new questions. Over the years, many individuals involved in the case began to speak out, revealing information suggesting that the Roswell incident was not related to a simple weather balloon. In the 1970s and 1980s, declassified documents started to emerge, showing that the U.S. government had investigated the case more thoroughly than was ever admitted. The FBI, for example, has records indicating that the agency investigated reports of non-human bodies being recovered from the crash site. These bodies were said to be small, around 1 meter tall, with gray skin and disproportionately large heads. These reports were being investigated by several government agencies, including the CIA, although there was always an effort to cover up any information regarding the case. Chase Brandon, a former CIA officer, was one of the key figures to speak about the case after his retirement. In a 2012 interview, Brandon stated that during a visit to CIA headquarters, he found classified documents confirming that the Roswell incident involved an alien spacecraft, not a weather balloon. He revealed that he had seen secret files that corroborated the version that alien beings had been recovered at the site, and that the US government was studying extraterrestrial technology. Testimonies from military personnel and civilians indicated that there had been a coordinated government effort to cover up the facts and prevent the truth from being revealed to the public. According to testimony from Sergeant Milton Torres, who was present during the investigations, he personally saw evidence that the government was attempting to manipulate the narrative and distort the facts so that people wouldn't know what really happened in Roswell. Theories about what really happened in Roswell. As the years passed, several theories emerged about what really happened in Roswell. Each theory is based on different sets of evidence, and some are more convincing than others. Here are the main theories that continue to circulate today. The military secret experiment theory. Some researchers believe that the Roswell incident was the result of secret military experiments carried out by the US government. This theory suggests that the government was testing surveillance technologies and high-altitude espionage experiments with balloons. But something went wrong, and the object that crashed in Roswell wasn't a typical weather balloon. Instead, the secret project may have involved much more advanced technology, which explains the wreckage that appeared extraterrestrial. The alien contact theory. The most popular theory among ufologists is that a genuine alien UFO crashed in Roswell. According to this theory, the spacecraft belonged to an extraterrestrial civilization that had visited Earth, and the US government not only recovered the craft, but also the bodies of the alien beings. This would explain why so many witness reports mention small beings with large heads and gray skin. The government then covered up the incident to prevent global panic and to keep alien technology secret. The government conspiracy theory. Another widely discussed theory is the government conspiracy theory, which suggests that the US government knew about the existence of extraterrestrials and had established a secret agreement with them. The US government may have recovered an alien UFO and its occupants, and rather than revealing this to the public, they kept it secret through media manipulation, cover-ups, and public statement changes, new developments, and revelations. In recent years, interest in the Roswell case has been revived, especially with the release of UFO videos by the US Navy, which showed military pilots documenting encounters with unidentified flying objects. Additionally, in 2020, the US Department of Defense confirmed the existence of a secret program called the AATIP, Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, that investigates unidentified aerial phenomena. This has further fueled speculation about the Roswell case, as many believe that the government has been studying extraterrestrial life since the 1947 incident. The mystery of Roswell lives on the Roswell incident remains one of the greatest and most intriguing mysteries of modern history. Although the government attempted to cover up the facts for decades, new evidence and testimonies from former government officials continue to suggest that there is much more to this incident than the official version admits. Was what crashed in Roswell simply a weather balloon, as the Air Force claimed? Or was it an extraterrestrial flying saucer, as many ufologists believe? To this day, the truth remains hidden, but the Roswell incident continues to captivate generations, leaving one essential question: is humanity truly alone in the universe? Or, perhaps, did the US government, in its attempt to protect the public, conceal the discovery of beings from another world? The answers are still out there, waiting to be discovered.